All right, how's everybody feeling? Are you angry today about Trump and his billionaire agenda? All right, folks, well, we are here today because it was about 140 years ago that mostly immigrant workers in Chicago started a set of movements and struggles that today we remember around the world as May Day, as International Workers' Day. And this is just one of the events that are happening. There are actually 1,000 events happening across the country today in all 50 states. And there are many events that already unions and community groups have done here in the Twin Cities. So we are very excited to be one of those many groups and one of those many actions today. My name is Greg Namacher. I am the president of SEIU Local 26. And we are here and proud to say that together all of these actions and the many different unions that you see today and community groups are all united in one single message, that Trump needs to take his hands off of immigrants and workers, and we need to stop the billionaire agenda. So in being here at the airport, it is particularly clear with fighting the corporate agenda, because this is a place that gets millions and billions of taxpayer dollars every year. This is a public institution, the airport, and it is dependent on immigrant workers and workers from all over the country to make it work. And yet it is a place that is constantly being undercut by the big corporations like Delta, like Uber, Lyft, that are trying to keep the workers down and try to keep us from our basic rights. For example, we know that Trump just in the last few months has taken away the basic right to a union for AFA workers, for many federal workers, including the TSA workers that you'll hear from in just a minute. That's not right! We know that these public subsidies go to big corporations like Delta that try and block the unionization drives of IAM and AFA that you'll hear about in just a minute. And we know that Uber, Lyft get tons of subsidies publicly, and yet they are here and the Uber, Lyft drivers don't even have a dignified place to go to the bathroom or to pray. So that is why we are here on those struggles and many other struggles here to say enough is enough, and we are here to stop the billionaire agenda and stop Trump's agenda. So with that, I want to pass it on first to Michelle from AFG, Local 899, to tell us a little bit about what they're doing.
Hello, everyone. Brothers and sisters of MSP Airport, I'm not here today to speak politely. I'm here to speak the truth loud and clear. My name is Michelle Snyder, and I'm proud to be a TSA officer, standing alongside the men and women who helped build this agency from the ground up. Right here at MSP in Minnesota, many of our senior officers stepped forward after the terrorist attack of 9/11. When private security failed, they made a promise to this country, and I carry that promise with me every day. Private security got us 9/11. That's not an opinion, that's a fact. The system failed, people died, and we said never again. We came to TSA with a purpose. We came here to make sure that never happens again.
That's right.
That's why we put on the uniform. That's why we come to work every day, and we think like that every single day. But now the very agency we built has turned its back on us. TSA tore up our union contract. No warning, no discussion, no respect.
That's not right.
They made a unilateral decision to shred a legally binding contract 1 year into a 7-year contract. That's not leadership, that's betrayal. And while they're stripping away our rights, they're setting the stage for something even worse, privatization. This is the same kind of private contractors that failed this country once before. Let me say it loud right here in Minneapolis. A return to that model will produce the same results: disasters, terror, and chaos. We've seen it before, and we will not let it happen again. This is not politics. This is national security.
That's right.
Reason must override politics, or we are headed straight for another 9/11. To the public, to the travelers, to every Minnesotan passing through MSC, we are the ones who keep you safe. We live here, we serve here, we care. To the TSA leadership, we are not backing down. Right. You broke trust, you disrespected your workforce, and you awakened a union that will not be silent.
That's right.
But let me make something clear to this administration and to DHS Secretary Christy Noem. We call on you to restore union rights to CSA officers now.
Yep.
You have a responsibility to uphold the promises made to us to protect the worker, to protect this country.
That's right.
We call on you to reject privatization and to ensure TSA remains a public service, built on the safety and security of the American people, not the profits of private companies. We are proud Minnesotans. We are AFGE. We are the union, and we are ready to fight. Stay loud, stay united, and stay strong.
All right, thank you, Michelle. All right. So now we're going to hear from another speaker, Hamza, who's one of the Uber Lyft drivers that have been fighting for more rights here at the airport. This is incredibly important right now because Trump and part of his national agenda to move the corporate billionaire agenda is to always blame immigrants, right? While they're making their money and their profit, they're blaming folks that don't make anywhere close to what they make. And so obviously Uber Lyft drivers are a primarily immigrant workforce, and yet they do not have some basic rights here at MSP. So Hamza, tell us what's up.
Oh, thank you. My name is Hamza. I have been driving Uber and Lyft or rideshare driver for 7 years, past 7 years. And a lot of other folks are same like me. We struggle every day. And we are one of the backbones who run this place. We are here today. I'm very glad to be here to see those faces and community who come out. And thank you very much. I appreciate it for everyone. And I say somewhere it's here. I am part of the group trying to win the union, the right share. Without union, we cannot individually we cannot do nothing about it. But together, if we together, we can fight together. We can fight together to the end. And I hope, and I'm sure, we win if we are together.
Yes.
Remember that, don't forget that. And every time when we have something like this, come out and take your time. Come out and say something. Join together. Okay, that's one thing. Here in Minnesota, the state capital, but we are here today speaking out because we are demanding respect. What is it? I don't know how to explain my condition of work. Those are billionaires. I don't know how to explain the respect from the people who run the MSP airport. We are that Uber and Lyft drivers are critical people arriving at and leaving the airport. But right now, the waiting lot does not have a bathroom sometimes. And even we don't have some size bathrooms. Other than dirty spots. The drivers who are the Muslims, which are large in number of they don't have anywhere to play. And let me explain you a little bit. Some people they think it takes hours to play. It is less than 5 minutes. Sometimes it's less than 3 minutes to play. And we need to destination area, the small place, which is those billionaires they can afford. They small. That's another thing. So the minutes that we are praying is no. The bad time or the hardest time is the winter time and the raining time. And as you know, most of you, we cannot play inside the car. You have to go out and stand and behind our cars. We help the airport make money. They actually get money from the riders. Every ride, I don't know how to explain, but every ride I pick up here to the airport, those companies, they get their share. Without picking up, they cannot get nothing. We pick up and drop off, but when we ask the dignified place, do you know what they say? They say no. Simply no. And that's a sad. And when I see like this, I'm very happy to see this. And we can push it, those billionaires, we can push it as far as we together, we see change very soon. And workers and immigrants that attacks right now, and you guys know the politicians, like how our country is going on right now. The immigration is under attack. We are all stand up those attacks to the end. We have to fight together. We have to be strong.
That's right.
Better from employers. I see many of those who had workers in here. The Delta workers, STC. Yeah, they stand long day trying to make it safe our people. So don't think you are nothing.
Right.
Yeah. And I'm glad to be here and thank you all. That's what I'm saying, but we have to remember all the time. We have to come out and work together, fight together. We are not asking extra. We're asking our rights. That's a little thing. Remember that. And thank you very much. Oh, yeah. When we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. When we fight, all right, let's hear it for Hamza.
So now we want to hear from Pat, one of the IAM baggage handlers, about their fight. Another fight.
Hello, my name is Pat. I've been a Delta baggage handler for almost 10 years. Thank you. All right. And I never expected to see myself in a situation like this. When I graduated high school, when I was in college, I never thought that I would have people looking at me making a speech. I never expected to be part of the labor movement. I never, ever expected that. And all across the country right now, there are people who are stepping into a future they never expected. Yeah. There are people who are standing up. They are seeing the money being squeezed out of us, the respect not being given to us, the betrayal of the promise of this country being taken away from us. And these average, everyday people are stepping into this power. And it is so exciting to be a part of this, to see this. The people who ride the bus with us, that I may cut off in traffic, I'm sorry. But the people at the grocery store, everyday people. And I cannot wait, and I'm so excited to be here for this. So a little of why we are trying to unionize the baggage handlers at Delta. 15 years ago, there was a merger between Delta and Northwest, and we lost the union vote. It was a buyout, as Mary says. It was. And ever since then, I watched the respect from our executives and our leadership disappear. I've watched our full-time hours dwindle. I'm seeing a revolving door where they want people to come in, work for a year, and get out. Keep costs low, keep wages low, keep people suppressed. And I've seen that in my 10 years. Just 2 days ago, they announced a raise for Delta, for the workers. When it takes effect, we will still be the 4th lowest starting pay in the airline industry. Do you know who made the most money last year? Delta. How about 2 years ago? In my 10 years, most of those years, they have been the industry leader in profits. They can pay us what we deserve. And that greed doesn't stop just at us. They are excited. Ed Bastian, our CEO, stepped out and said that he was excited to work with the Trump administration because he felt the Biden administration was too restrictive. And that goes for the passengers that are listening. Ed Bastian wants to reduce your compensation when there's delays. He wants to reduce the transparency of fees when you book a ticket. That greed does not go just to us, it goes to you, it goes to the other workers here who have contracts with Delta, who do our catering, our cleaning services. They're being denied health care in these negotiations. So we are here to stand up to the greed, not of Delta, not of just a shadowy few, but to the billionaires, the executives, this administration. I am so excited to be here and see everyday normal people here, because when we stand together, we fight together, and we will win together.
Awesome, let's hear it for Pat and IAM. So, and I want to do a quick shout out of all our Unite Here brothers and sisters over in the corner. Unite Here. Many of the food service workers here and many of the passenger service workers, Local 26 members are over there in the corner. And those folks have been fighting for now over 3 years to try and get MAC to pass a policy that would require health care for the workers here at this airport. 3.5 years, still no policy. It's unacceptable, and we do need our local administrations to side with us in this fight against against that corporate billionaire agenda, and they need to step up. So, within that, I want to now introduce Sara Nelson from the AFA, who is also in the same way with Delta.
Thank you, Greg. How's everybody feeling on International Worker Day? So there are Delta flight attendants out here who know what it's like to have your contract extinguished overnight. That happened November 1st, 2010. We can feel what the TSA workers are feeling right now. And Delta flight attendants, let's hear it. So it's International Worker Day, and you know what? The very first flight attendant contract had an 8-hour day in it because of the 80-year fight of the working class fighting for that standard for the 8-hour day. I'll ask the Uber and Lyft drivers. I'll ask the airport workers, Unite Here. I'll ask flight attendants, who has an 8-hour day today? Who has a weekend today? The corporate elite have been on supercharge since Ronald Reagan fired the air traffic controllers in 1981. And we made a big mistake as a labor movement. That was our fight. That was our fight too. It didn't matter that the air traffic controllers endorsed Ronald Reagan. When he canceled their contract and broke their strike, sent many to jail, he told the rest of corporate America that it was open season on unions. Since that time, it has been stock buybacks for Wall Street and pension terminations for Main Street. It has been a destruction of unions in America, the only check on corporate greed. So I want to just tell you how I learned about this. I'm a Boston-based flight attendant, been flying for almost 30 years. And, you know, on September 11th, I lost my good friends. I lost Amy and Michael and Amy and Robert, Catherine, Al, Alicia, Marianne, and Jesus. I say their names every single day. But I also think about Francisco, who was working for the private security company at that terminal checkpoint at Terminal C. And all of his colleagues that I saw all the time, because they were working for the lowest wages, trying to provide for their families. Did they know that they were set up to not have the tools or the resources to be able to guard against the greatest attack on American soil in our history? No. Do they know what we did when we banded together and TSA was formed to federalize the workforce? And what we did when we said that that federal workforce should have the right to union bargaining? Do they know what we did when we put tinfoil around, cut out words that said union, AFGE, sign a card, and put in our luggage that went through their scanners as they were organizing? When AFGE was able to organize and represent TSA workers, our security improved. When the airports and the greedy airline executives want to rush people through, get them spending money in the airports, and the TSO wants to raise their hand and say, I see something that's not safe, TSA contract, he made all of us less safe, and he said to corporate America, it's open season on union contracts, and the labor movement stood by and did what? We filed a lawsuit. We filed a lawsuit. What happened right after that? Almost 1 million workers had their contracts canceled too. We have to understand that this fight is urgent. In 1934, in this city took control with a general strike started with the Teamsters. There were general strikes all across this country. In the Bay Area, in Toledo, in the South. That was the kind of power that gave FDR the power to sign into law Social Security. Worker wage and hour laws, the minimum wage, and the right to join a union. But let me tell you something, in this moment of urgency, you do not need union certification to act like a union. We have people out here who are in unions. We have people out here who are fighting for their union. And we have members of the public who understand that we don't have a democracy without unions. So we need to start talking about it. Mother Jones said 100 years ago, the capitalists say there is no need of labor organizing. Except the fact that they themselves are continually organizing shows us their real beliefs. The capitalists want the most amount of labor for the least amount of money, including prison labor. If you would only understand that you hold the solution to the whole problem in your hands. If, for example, every worker were to just simply hold up and stop working, the capitalists would yield to any and all demands because the world could simply not go on. Everyone who's here today, I want to see you at the state capitol this afternoon. I want to see you out at Tesla takedown pickets. I want to see you out at Social Security offices saying, hands off our Social Security. I want to see you at VA hospitals saying, we want to protect our veterans. I want to see you out there at more activities and bring in your friends to say, hands off our services. Our money, our government. Our money, our government. Our money, our government. All right. Money, our government. Let's get real here. We fly at 35,000 feet in the air. Do you stack $100 bills? Anybody know what those look like? All right. But if you stack $100 bills on top of each other, high enough to reach 35,000 feet, that's almost 7 miles in the air. That's just 3% of Elon Musk's work. How much is too much? This is our world. He can build all the dig rockets to go to Mars and try to leave us on a burning Earth. But when the workers at X, Tesla, and SpaceX organize, he has to answer to them. And right now, he has to answer to us. So I'll just leave you with this. I've been thinking about it a lot. I've been thinking about a lot how social justice is directly tied to economic justice. And on the last night he was alive, Martin Luther King Jr. said to striking sanitation workers, I have been to the mountaintop. I have seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but we, as a people, will get there together. And some people may have thought that that was a dark moment of MLK predicting his death. But it wasn't that. It was Martin Luther King Jr. saying to all of us, Dr. King saying to all of us, no one person, no one leader can take us where we need to go. We can only do that together. And in those words, he deputized all of us to be in the fight for freedom. So I will tell you that the reason that Delta is flying strong today and making those profits is because the Association of Flight Attendants and the Delta flight attendants who stood out there in the middle of COVID and protested for it, fought for, and IAM fought for and won the payroll support programs that kept aviation workers employed, put a cap on executive compensation, banned stock buybacks. It was the only industry not to grow in inequality during that time. But do you know that instead of fighting for their workers, instead of fighting for the ability to keep in place a service for the American people in the middle of a crisis, the only thing that Delta did when they went to Capitol Hill during that time was make sure that Mitch McConnell would strike out of the law a requirement that none of those federal dollars could be spent on union busting. That's what they were focused on, because they have money and control. But what they know, and they don't want any of us to know, is that we have the power. 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 Okay. So it's not about politics, it's about us. Yes. It's about a united working class. But you still gotta have fighters in our state capitals.
That's right.
And in our legislatures. And we are proud to have out here with us someone who supports the Delta campaign, someone who supports the airport workers, someone who supports Uber and Lyft workers, someone who supports TSA workers in their collective bargaining rights. We have Peggy Flanagan, Lieutenant Governor of Minnesota. Close us out. Thank you, Peggy. She makes me want to run through a brick wall, like right now. Amazing, amazing.
Well, bonjour, Peggy Flanagan, addition to cause, because you would have a quite indigo, guabagaga cognan junjaba, mang in their name. My name is Peggy Flanagan. My Ojibwe name is Speaks in a Loud and Clear Voice Woman. I'm a member of the White Earth. You can laugh. I get it. Yeah. Right. I'm a member of White Earth. My family's the Wolf Clan, and the role of our clan is to ensure that we're not leaving anyone behind, which is why I am here with workers today. And let me be clear. As we talk about what solidarity looks like in this moment, and when there are people who want us to make ourselves as small as possible, to go along, to get along. As a kid growing up, I tried to make myself as small as possible to stay safe. That no longer serves me, and it no longer serves you either. So when we are here and we live into our full power as workers and as folks who care about each other and have one another's backs, this is power, and I hope that you feel it. Growing up, my mom used to tell me a story about my great-grandfather, Edmund, who was left on the front lawn of my great-grandmother's house with his legs broken because he had worked to try to organize a union of sewer workers in Minneapolis. And we told that story, and she told me that story all of the time. And as she was a phlebotomist, she worked in the healthcare system. She didn't have a union. And she knew what a difference it would make if she did. She tried to pick up as much overtime as possible. And I remember as a kid coming up, if there were times when my mom would say when it was time for dinner, she'd say, "Oh, I ate at work. Someone had a party and we had food there." Or, "You know what, I'm not hungry. I'm just gonna eat after you go to bed." It wasn't until I became Siobhan's mom that I realized what was happening in that moment. My mom was trying to protect me from the fact that we didn't have enough money to put food on the table. It is outrageous. And we are here because one good job should be enough. And the only reason we are in this fight, it is a self-made problem of Donald Trump in this moment. It is greed, greed, and more greed. That's it. Literally so that his billionaire besties can get money. They want to take away our rights. They want to take away health care. They want to make sure that our seniors have nothing. And that workers are paying the cost for these tax breaks for people who don't need it. And so here's what I know, y'all. We might not agree on everything, but that's okay. Because in this moment, it is literally all of us against extremist billionaires. And every single day, I am betting on us. So as Pat Flanagan's daughter, and as Edmund Harrigan's great-granddaughter, as Siobhan's mom, and as your LG, I am standing with you today, and I want to wish you a happy International Workers' Day. And I know that as we come together, and as we show up for one another, this is what they're afraid of. So if you are afraid in this moment, they shouldn't be. And if you are afraid in this moment, and courage is hard to come by, I get it. I get it. It is a hard and scary time. But I hope that looking around and seeing each other and knowing that our folks are here who are willing to fight for one another, you know that you are not alone. And that, as it was mentioned from Greg, there are folks all across this country who are doing this very thing, and who are doing it all across the state of Minnesota. There are more of us than there are extremist billionaires, and when we show up, we win. So I am so honored and humbled to be with y'all today. Let's go. When we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. Thanks, everybody.
We are the ones they are afraid of. Don't forget that.